Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin. Welcome wherever you're watching me from. This is Basement Chronicles Live. And today we're going to be talking about finding your why. In particular, what happens when the things that you do, where you find yourself, the job that you do, when these things are not a good fit. So, wherever you're watching me from, welcome to our show today. Let me just go live right here on Instagram and welcome the family over there. So, welcome as well to a new audience. I'm streaming on Watch Radio in New York as well. I like this is amazing. I'm happy to have persevered in doing, the communication thing, doing Basement Chronicles, which I started all the way back in 2020. And now, we're spreading our wings. Thank you to Peter and the folks at Watch Radio for believing in Basement Chronicles. And I told you guys about the story of how I started yesterday. Let's continue today, however, speaking about finding your why. You can see the little ticker tape on the bottom here. I will be having a workshop, a free workshop on Sunday, the 20th of October. I'm very passionate about helping people to find themselves where they are most effective. I had to come to that realization myself. And by the way, tell me if you can hear me, please. I hope you can hear me. I hope everything's going well. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. So as I was saying, I'm really passionate about helping people to find their why, because when you know where you're going, what you're doing, you know what direction to take. And a lot of us just simply find ourselves, thank you, Peter. And a lot of us just simply find ourselves just doing jobs. And there's a season for that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying just burn down all the ships and go, climb coconut trees or something. No. Hey, Clarita, how are you doing? No, I'm not saying that. There has to be a process, there has to be strategy to how you come to a realization and the execution of this is what I was meant to do. You guys, before I continue, I have some good news. Okay, so apart from the workshop that's happening on Sunday, this is it right here. And I'm going to put the link in the chat wherever you're watching me from. You'll be able to access it. On the 31st of October, I will be publishing my next book. It's called Worship at Midnight, A Call to Deeper Intimacy and Accelerated Breakthroughs. Let me try and get out of the shot. It's not a very good one, but I thought I'd put it up. I will say more about it later. But part of that is recognizing that, okay, if you've got a gift of writing and this is what you're called to do, you should be doing it. You need to make time in your life, make room for it. And there are many reasons, as we shall see today, many reasons for pursuing the things that you were meant to do. And so it's all about you today. It's all about who are you? What are you meant to be doing? What will that look like? Before we go there, let's talk about times and instances in life. Hey, Jaden, how are you? Jade, how are you doing? Let's talk about instances in life when things were not a good fit. I was just looking at the statistics, okay? Let me read something for you. Do you know that Michael Jordan played baseball for a while? Yeah, he did. You probably know that, or at least if you're a little older than that, like I am, you probably do, okay? Michael Jordan, arguably the best basketball player of all times. Now I have this discussion with my sons, and it's now between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. It's perhaps a matter of generation. I don't know. But in my head, some people just simply need to glance down at the shoes that they're wearing to know who's the greatest. Okay. most people, most people are wearing Jordans. But hear this about Michael Jordan and his time playing with the Birmingham Barons in 1995. He played 127. No, it says his batting average was .202, a figure that, although unremarkable in the professional baseball world, it signified his monumental progress in an unfamiliar sport. So, he didn't do as well, obviously, as he did. He's a legend in basketball. He already had 3 rings and then 3 championships. And then he goes to play baseball. And while he performed credibly, perhaps better than many people, including me, who never played baseball in my life. He was not great at it. I've heard, of course, people say that had he continued, he might have gotten better because he seemed to have been on an upward trajectory. But the fact is that he was out of the space where he was phenomenal. And my question to you today is, where are you phenomenal? Where are you great? What is your lane? I was listening to an interview with our own Julian Alfred. If you are watching from another country and you hear my accent, I'm from St. Lucia. We just got our very first Olympic medalist. She medaled gold and then silver. Her name is Julian Alfred. You probably know that name. I was listening to in the 100 meter at the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, right? And I was listening to an interview that she had shortly after winning, and where she was literally just saying that she ran her own race, that she stayed in her lane. She didn't look to her left or right. She wasn't concerned about what she carried, which she didn't say by name, but they asked her a question about who was next to her, the rival, etc. And she's like, I was simply focused on running my race, on staying in my lane. And many times we get divided because we're not sure of who we are, what we are best at, and how to translate that into things that we love to do and things that are going to make income for us. And I'm hoping that on Sunday I can help you to come some ways towards finding out your why and so on. So Nisa, how are you doing? I hope you're tagging people to watch, so please let me know where you're watching from, whether you are on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Oh my goodness, we are all over the place. A special welcome to the Watch Radio family as well. So what is your lane? Now, here's the thing. When he went back, there's this famous thing where after Michael Jordan, had like a so-so career in baseball, in a two word press release, he announced that he was going back to basketball. He simply said, I'm back. Sounds very typical of him. And then he went on even after that to get more championships because he was in his lane. What is your lane? Where are you so good that people cannot ignore you? You're tagging people. Thank you, Nisa. I appreciate that. Nisa says she's good. She's tagging people to watch on Facebook. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. You guys, I'm reminded of a story. There's this guy back home in St. Lucia. And if you're in the media world, you know him because he does upholstery. His name is, they call him Running Man. I always talk about this man because, not just because of his prowess. He's I don't know very much else that Running Man is good at, because he's so great at taking a studio from scratch and doing all the upholstery. And we had occasion to watch him in progress, to watch him in the process of doing it. He does something. Hey, Sandra, good morning. Watching from Brooklyn. Thank you for being here. And it's the way that he does it. He'll stand before a wall before he gives you like the dimensions and so on. And he begins to tap his thigh, right? He begins to tap his thigh. He begins to almost mutter to himself. And you can see, and you're like, what is he doing? But the final product is so phenomenal that he's always in high demand. Anytime anybody wants to pad a studio or get things done, they go to him. And it really is an example of somebody who's found his thing and can get paid for it. What about you? What's your thing? What is that thing that you get called for that you do so phenomenally well? Two things happen when you do it at that level. It doesn't even seem like work to you. And we're going to look into that in the workshop on Sunday. It's not work for you. It's just what you do, right? And secondly, people like it when you do it that way. Like, they are amazed, they are blessed, they're it's just your thing. It could be baking cakes, it could be speaking, it could be writing, it could be performing, it could be playing music. Whatever it is, if you have that natural link between what you do and what people want, then you have something there. You can find your why. Now, I've really been thinking a lot more deeply about what I'm going to be presenting on Sunday and this whole thing about finding your why. And it all goes obviously back to the times when it does not fit. Let me give you yes, Adra. Nice to have the shout out. Shout out to work, It's nice to know that people are, just happy that you are there. Let me tell you a story from the Bible. You all know the story about David. David in the Bible was this guy that God loved, okay? One remarkable story about him that fits into the context of what we're speaking about in professional terms. This is especially for my LinkedIn people. One story is when he had to go fight the Philistines, and Saul put on his old armor. Saul put on Saul's armor on David. And then the next, I forgot what part of the Bible it's in. It sounds like it's either Samuel, Chronicles, it's in the Old Testament. That much I'm sure of, right? And then David says to Saul, it doesn't fit. I can't move in this. David was accustomed of fighting his battles with stones. He was a shepherd. He knew how to take care of the sheep his way. And he took off the armor that did not fit. It was not a good fit for him. And then he took the 5 smooth stones, and it was with one of these stones that, he did the slingshot thing. And that Goliath, he hit him in the middle of his forehead, and he slayed that giant because he did it this way. I will never forget reading the Bible and coming across that passage for the first time when David knew himself enough to say to Saul, no, I know you think this is good. I know perhaps this is what works for you, but this is not me. And at some point, I think in everybody's life, we need to look at ourselves and what we are doing and figure out, is this working? Is this how I'm fighting, what I'm doing for work, where I am in life? Is this me? And you know where that comes from? That comes from taking the time to know yourself. And that's what I'm hoping to do. That's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday in the workshop. We hardly ever get time like that for ourselves, do we? We hardly get the time to figure out ourselves and to know what we're about. And Sunday's workshop is really meant to give you that space to see what your strengths and weaknesses are and to see where it is you fit, what is a good fit for you. Because when you know that and you dial into this is who I am, this is what I do best, this is where I fit best, then you can do some great things in life. Hey, Yasmin, how are you doing? Nice to see you here. You guys, here's the link to the workshop. I'm posting it right now in the chat. Wherever you're watching me from, you should be able to see it. Watch Radio, Basement Chronicles. It's also on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to all the channels. If you're watching me from my channel, subscribe to Watch Radio NYC, please, on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're watching from Watch Radio, subscribe to Lisa Dublin on YouTube and Basement Chronicles on YouTube as well. That's where it's going. Hey, Chien Lee Isaac, good morning to you. Welcome to the show. And so that's what we want to be talking about. So with David and Goliath, David and Saul's armor, he's like, no, this is not me. And I'll never forget during COVID coming to that realization that I was in the wrong job. I was not meant for administrative work. And don't get me wrong, I learned a lot from administrative work that I now employ in my own business. So it strengthened those skills in me because sometimes creatives can be all over the place. I am not one of those. And the reason is because I was in those jobs that demanded administrative skills from me. So we're never about discounting any experience. You take the good from it. But there's so much to be said for finding the right fit of, like yesterday, Yesterday, I had this lovely experience of feeling like when you're thirsty and you drink water as opposed to juice or Coke or whatever, you know that feeling when it just hits the back of your throat and you know that it hit it. That's how I feel when I'm speaking or when I'm coaching or when I'm writing. And I feel like every single person needs to feel that level of satisfaction, because the kinds of things that you can do from that level, it's amazing. So yesterday I was coaching a client, and we went really deeply into, what was going on with her, and why, like, she wanted to do new things in her business, and to be able to take her through that process, set the container, what are we doing today, the intention, and by the end of the session, to have seen the client get to understand her own mind, not me, to for her to be able to understand her motivations or lack thereof and where it was coming from. These are the kinds of moments when I'm done with coaching, or when I give a speech, when I'm communicating that kind of thing, that I'm like, wait a minute, this is a good fit. And I feel like when you are there, you can do more. So that's what we want to look at. When is it a good fit for you? And to look at examples when it's not. So we have Michael Jordan, and him going into baseball for so many reasons, and then realizing, what, where I am a natural is in basketball, let me mosey back along to the NBA. And he did that, and to prove himself even further, goes on to win even as many championships as he had won before he left for that brief stint in baseball. So is it a good fit for you? What about David? As we said, David and Goliath. And well, David, that's what he saw with the armor. And David saying, you know what, it's not a good fit for me. But a lot of us don't think we have the option. And that's where we want to go this morning. A lot of us don't think that we have the option, even when we decide that it's not a good fit. We feel like, okay, you know what, I've got too much responsibility. I'm too old. I hear that a lot. It's too late for me to change now. Nobody's saying to you, go burn down the ship. I took 3 years from the time of COVID to pivoting into being speaker, writer, coach. I took 3 years to kind of hone this skill, to get it to the point where it's either I had to give up one or the other because I was too tired. I didn't have any time for my family. I had to make a choice and to decide where I was going, all in, back to what I knew and I hated, or forward to what I absolutely loved, but now needed to have faith in God about and to make the leap. And I decided to go forward. So nobody's saying, when you discover what your why is, and I wrote down a couple what your why could be. It could be a simple thing like, I hate bullies and I'm going to just direct all of my efforts towards making sure people are not bullied in the workplace. Or you could be like a DEI person, somebody who has experienced racism and is like, this is not okay. I'm going to die. I'm going to make sure for the rest of my life, that's what I'm going to, talk about and advocate for. Your why could also be, for me, my why is I just want you to win. I know the sting of failure. I've had deep failure, epic failures in my life. I don't like to be on that side. And when clients come to me or I see people who are failing, I will reach out to them, if especially if it's in the public eye, because we know how we get when people fail, especially publicly. I'm not the person who laughs. I'm the person who's like, why did this happen and how can I help? I will reach out some which what way, you're going to get back on top. I don't even care. So I know that sting of failure. And so I always say my why is I want you to win. Like, why should you not win? Why should life say to you that, oh, you can't have this and you can't have that? And, in that way of helping people win, what I've done is interpreted it with my skills and talents, speaking, writing, coaching. What about you? What's your why? So here are a couple others. Maybe it is that you didn't have a father, and your why is to make sure that men live up to their responsibilities and enjoy fatherhood. I have a friend right now, and her big why is to push homeschooling because she's having such great success with it, right? So in the workshop on Sunday, and I put the link in there. It's there if you want to join. There's still time. I'm closing it off on Friday because I want us to do the work. Like, I want it to be a nice, tight group of people. and it's workshop style. So you come with your pen and paper or whatever, and we're going to be interacting. It's not a webinar where you just hear things and you don't get to interact. It's going to be interactive, it's live, it's taught online. So I want you to come out, okay? Because when you discover that why and you're able to match it with your values and what you are about, you can do bigger things in life. So here's the question I have for everybody this morning. Does everybody need a why? What do you think of that question? Let me tell you why I'm asking this question. Because the same example that I use of somebody who was not in his element, Michael Jordan, I think he's a contradiction. And I wonder whether it has to be, hey, Dark Void Fish, she said yes. Hey, Sunny, good morning. Do you think everybody needs a why? What does a why do? Look at Michael Jordan. What's his why? Is that a sports thing? Or are they excluded from other talents and skills? As in, when you have a sport, you just simply want to be good at it and play it and make money? Is that the why? Does it work when you have something deeper and something higher to aspire to than just the natural talent? What do you guys think? So I Doug Voidfish said yes, as in I suppose that everybody needs a why. What do you think? Think about yourself. Are you just about making the money? Are you just about surviving? Or do you have a deeper purpose in life? And what happens when you have a deeper purpose? So Sadiu, oh my God, Sadi's always making me blush. Sadiu said, perfect lighting. I have a glow. Thank you, my girl. Doug Voidfish says it applies to all fields. So I'm in a couple, groups as I grow as a speaker, as a coach. I am getting spoken to and coached at the same time. And in each of these masterminds, you know what comes back? What the gurus teach? Make your pursuit bigger than coaching, bigger than just speaking. Have something to aspire to. And what they're saying is when you go that high, then when things happen, you won't just give up. You will deeply care about people and not just about making money. And you will live a more qualitative life because you have a deeper purpose than just, oh, I'm a speaker, I can just give bars and I can just perform or whatever. And I think that there is merit to that. Let me give you a very personal example of that. So I'm a coach. I've been since 2021. People come and go. But remember, I've said it's not just about making money. I know I deeply care. I will call you. I will call you not because I expect you to continue coaching with me. If you've said that after the 6 months together, it's time to go, that's fine. But the bigger why for me is, are you still winning? And perhaps even with my free stuff or my videos or whatever, how can I be of service and value? That's when you know that the why is bigger than just a mercenary gain and you keep on showing up. Some people don't show up. Like, you know what I've realized? Like, I've never been concerned about likes or how many people are watching. I probably should. No, I've just been I really need to perhaps take a second look at that. Peter and I have to talk about that because maybe if I did, maybe I don't even know. But that's the thing. Like, it really is about being so deeply authentic that whether or not you had a big following or a small one, you would still show up and give your best. So Sanu says that is quite true. For me, if I wasn't consistent about where ladies talk, my why's bigger without the money. Exactly. When you have something, and especially when you're about serving people, if you make that the bigger aim in any respect, I believe that your why gets deeper and you show up more consistently. You show up even when the going gets tough. You show up even when people don't respond or things happen in business. It doesn't even matter to a sense, because you keep on giving value, because you understand it's going to come back to you at some point, and it's helping those people. It's whosoever will. So to answer the question, some people have answered, some people haven't. Do you think everybody needs a why? Where do you put, for example, the sports people? And another example I always give is, I've got two brothers. One, I have this brother who does two things very, very well. Yasmin says, I totally agree. The message gets to right people at the right time, regardless. Yasmin, I love that word, regardless. You're going to keep on going, right? And then the views are there without the likes. Yeah, and Nisa, that's, I think, very that talks about our societies in the Caribbean in particular, where people will watch and not comment. And we just have to encourage people to keep on encouraging those people who are out there like me, giving of their best, because it does keep us going. It really does do something for us. Everybody needs encouragement. But back to my brother. My brother can make a cheesecake that would make you, that those cheesecakes. Oh my goodness. You when you eat a cake, okay? And it's so good that the taste of the cake stays in your on your it stays with you forever. I've been married 20 years and I still remember the taste of my wedding cake because it was that good. My brother's cheesecake is like that. But he has no desire to continue making cheesecakes, much to my chagrin. Okay? No, doesn't care. He could make he could make a mint from making cheesecakes, but he has no desire. There's no why behind it. On the other hand, this young man does not get tired on the basketball court. His why. That's why I tell you, do you think you need something bigger to keep you going or to do well at it? Sometimes it doesn't always apply. He could play basketball from 6 in the morning until midnight. Like, just go all around. No, that's his thing. He loves it. He trains for it. All his entire life centered around it. And is there a bigger why? He loves coaching. That's what I've realized about him. Like, he loves taking underdogs and taking them up to a certain level. He really is a really great coach. I'm beginning to realize that about him. But it's all related in the field of, this is my talent, this is my skill, and this is where I can give value. Oh my goodness, the comments are going off. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. Okay. So Sanu says, oh, you lost audio? Um, can you hear me now? Somebody please tell me, please let me know. Is there still audio? Let's see what's going on here. Mic check 1 2. Okay, audio seems to be here. Yasmin, let me know. Okay, so Sanu says, oh, I can't show the comments, you guys. I just realized that. Sanu says, even in friendships, we need a why when we see our friends, and what they can do for us, but what is the value in that relationship? Yes, there's audio. Thank you. Okay, so Yasmin says, I totally agree. The message gets to the right people at the right time, regardless. Oh, you guys, we are going to have fun. I didn't realize I could do the captions and put up the comments. Here we go. Dark Void Fish from YouTube says, it applies to all fields. So I was asking the question, do you think you need a why? And he's saying yes. He or she is saying, yes, we do. So thank you, guys. Okay, so tomorrow, then we're going to really dial into, what do you do when you find your why? As I said, I know one of the thoughts about what I am presenting is, how do I pivot? Like, is it too late for me? What do I do with this passion? Right? Sandra Davis says, he's passionate for the sport and he is full of energy. I guess that's talking about my brother. Like, he just loves playing basketball. Tomorrow, join me here for us to conclude that series and get ready for Sunday. Have you guys signed up for the workshop? Here's the link again. Go sign up, please. I really want everybody. Dark Voidfish says it's a she. Dark Voidfish, what's your name? You don't want to say? Okay, no problem. No problem. So join me tomorrow, because the question I want to answer tomorrow is, when I find my why, what happens next? How do I turn it into something that can make an impact and make an income. Some people, they do the job thing, the 9 to 5, just as a way of doing it, and they don't really care. And on the side hustle, however, they have a vocational thing, a voluntary thing. Doug Whitefish says that her name is Angela. Her son changed the name. Yeah, they do that. They do that a lot. I have signed into Zooms with my son's name and be like, yeah, excuse me, who's this? That happens. Okay. So please make sure you sign up and join me tomorrow. Like, let's conclude this series talking about your why and get you ready to really come out on Sunday because it's an important question. Can you just imagine how you're going to bless the world when you're doing what you love and getting paid for it? That's what happened with Steve Jobs. That's what happened with all of those people who we admire and whose products and services we absolutely enjoy. The same can happen in your life. The same can happen. Okay, that's the reason to keep going. You sign up. So, Dark Void Fish, I guess I get to meet you on Sunday too, right? All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining me here, wherever you join me from. I appreciate you spending this half hour with me. And I'll be back tomorrow, Friday, where we look at this, conclude the series, Find Your Why. And don't forget to sign up for the workshop. It's free and it's valuable. The two things go together. I'm Lisa Dublin saying have a great day and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.